is my plan to dismantle the deep state and reclaim our democracy from Washington corruption once and for all.
They better watch out. It's about to hit the fan. Some are calling it Trump Stone, like Clint Eastwood arriving in town with a team of law enforcement gunslingers. Game over. Justice arriving in town to root out the criminals. Justice has arrived. I love that. Others are calling it the Trump wave, a political tsunami about to sweep over Washington, washing out all of the deep state swamp rats scrambling for cover right now. Well, whatever you call it, President-elect Donald Trump is poised to dismantle the deep state with the precision of a surgeon wielding a scalpel, going agency by agency and changing the swamp forever. This weekend, we just got stunning insights on how this thing is about to unfold, and I'm going to go through all of them detail by detail for you. But first, let's talk about the lengths the deep state and its allies will go in order to stop Trump. Overnight in Pennsylvania, we saw perhaps the clearest sign yet. The Democrats are so desperate to cling to power, they're blatantly attempting to count illegal votes. Yes, in Bucks County, Pennsylvania, Democratic commissioners voted to count illegal ballots that even the law says shouldn't be counted. Watch these tyrants.
Not going to second that, mostly because I think we all know that precedent by a court doesn't matter anymore in this country, and people violate laws anytime they want. So for me, if I violate this law, it's because I want a court to pay attention to it.
These people should be arrested. You can't make this up. The deep state isn't just in Washington. It's entrenched in state capitals, local governments across America, manipulating elections to secure its grip on power. But here's the thing. This time, it's not going to work. Trump is ready, and so are we, frankly, in America. The battle plan is now presenting itself, so let's go through it point by point. Now, Donald Trump isn't just talking about change here. He's already outlining a plan to bring in, as he said repeatedly on Truth Social, like 56 times I've counted. His goal is to destroy the deep state. He's called this out by name: the rogue bureaucrats, corporate officials, intelligence operatives who use their unelected power to undermine elected governments. Now, one cornerstone of this strategy is reinstating his October 2020 executive order that Biden reversed, which gives the president the authority to remove rogue bureaucrats who resist his administration's goals. Why would Biden reverse that? It tells you everything you need to know. David Sachs perfectly lays out why these rogue bureaucrats are so devastating to America. He calls it a fourth branch of government.
We can't vote them out and we can't fire them. And they have been in the forefront of trying to stop Trump and the larger reform movement that he represents. Ever since Trump got elected in 2016, remember, it was members of the administrative state, specifically the security state, who said, don't worry, we're going to be the insurance policy against Trump. And they have done everything possible through the Russiagate hoax, through lawfare, through the whole Steele dossier hoax, to basically try and stop Trump and the reform movement that he represents. And the big question of Trump's second term will be whether he can finally subdue this bureaucracy and bring it under Democratic control.
We have 3 million unelected tyrants in this fourth branch of government, and Trump has promised to root them out and wield this power aggressively, cleaning house, replacing entrenched officials with loyal, accountable public servants. Liberals on CNN are saying that's authoritarian. You know, some person the other day during our live show said, well, isn't this just checks and balances? And of course it's not. Checks and balances comes from Congress and the Supreme Court, not within your own executive branch that you are in charge of. That's called sabotage. J.D. Vance nails it.
I think he learned, in some ways the hard way, during his first 4 years in office, is the president recognizes that if you have people in your government who you tell to do something and they disobey you, that's not like checks and balances. They're part of your government. The check and balance is the House, the Senate, the judiciary, right? If the people in your own government aren't obeying you, you have got to get rid of them.
Vance nailed it. And Trump's not just stopping at rhetoric. Trump plans to establish a Truth and Reconciliation Commission to uncover decades of corruption, from covert surveillance on Americans to JFK's assassination. He wants transparency, accountability, and justice for the American people, and I am ready for it. And here's the rest of the list. Make every inspector general's office independent and physically separated from the departments they oversee so they do not become protectors of the deep state. Ask Congress to establish an independent auditing system to continually monitor our intelligence agencies to ensure they're not spying on us, our citizens, or running disinformation campaigns against the American people, which is exactly what the FBI and the CIA did against Trump. How dare they? Literally, our intelligence agencies working against a sitting president? Stop or ban federal bureaucrats from taking jobs at the companies they deal with and that they regulate. Here's another plan I love. Push a constitutional amendment to impose term limits on members of Congress. Hallelujah. I mean, friggin' Nancy Pelosi is 84 years old, and she this week announced that she's running for re-election. And then Trump this week dropped the mother of all bombshells on the biopharmaceutical complex, announcing Robert F. Kennedy Jr. would become his new head of the Department of Health and Human Services. Within 1 hour of that announcement, Pfizer and Moderna and other health stocks plummeted. I love that. I love it. RFK Jr. is a firebrand, a man who spent years exposing the corruption and greed within the biopharmaceutical industry. Now with Trump's backing, Kennedy is about to slash through the pharmaceutical industry like a machete through the jungle brush. And you know it's a good choice when liberals on MSNBC are melting down and they have a problem with it.
But the most important thing to know about Robert Kennedy Jr. is that there are probably people dead tonight because of him.
What a moron that guy is. So here's Kennedy's plan. It starts with the Food and Drug Administration. He's pledged to end the revolving door between big pharma and federal regulators, ensuring that the FDA serves the public health. Imagine that, not corporate profits. Kennedy is also in charge of the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, yes, the CDC, pushing for greater accountability and an overhaul of outdated policies like water fluoridation, which he believes has prioritized profit over safety. I mean, fluoride in our water, which is verifiably lowering the IQ of our children. It's like a freaking neurotoxin. Why are we drinking it? Perhaps most ambitiously, RFK Jr. aims to redirect billions in funding from the National Institutes of Health towards preventing problems. Yes, preventative health measures, rather than treating what the biopharmaceutical companies and all of this manufactured processed food is causing in the United States. Prevent it. He's promising to cut off funding to researchers with conflicts of interest, a bold move that could transform public health policy for generations to come. Kennedy's nomination is a message to the pharmaceutical giants. The days of unchecked power and influence are over. Trump and Kennedy are uniting to bring justice and reform to an industry that has long prioritized profit over people. And predictably, the deep state is panicking right now. Reports are emerging from Zero Hedge this weekend that intelligence agencies and shadowy bureaucrats are actively working to stop Trump before he can even take office. They know what's coming. Their entire house of cards is about to collapse. They're scrambling like little swamp rats.
Elon Musk and I are in a position to start the mass deportations of millions of unelected federal bureaucrats.
As Zero Hedge put it, Trump isn't seeking revenge. He's seeking justice, just like Clint Eastwood in Pale Rider. And here's the kicker. The deep state is terrified because Trump isn't alone. Across America, millions of people, ordinary Americans, are waking up to the corruption and the deceit that's been hidden in plain sight for decades. Whether it's the FBI targeting parents at school board meetings or intelligence agencies spreading disinformation about Hunter Biden's laptop, the people see it now. So call it Trump Stone or call it a Trump wave, but the message is clear. Justice is coming. Donald Trump is preparing to dismantle the deep state, department by department, rebuild a government that works for the people. And with allies like RFK Jr., the fight isn't just about draining the swamp. It's about transforming the entire system. The Democrats in the deep state can even try every trick in the book they want. Illegal ballots in Pennsylvania, fake narratives in the media, bogus investigations into Trump and his allies. But this time they're up against something they can't stop, a movement, a real movement. And you know, can't you actually feel it? I mean, when you go into coffee shops and other places, you can actually feel it right now. This movement is bigger than any one man. It's about America. It's about reclaiming our government. So buckle up, the storm is here and justice is arriving, folks. So that's the news update part of today's video. Now I want to tell you about today's sponsor, which is tied directly to RFK Jr. being nominated to the head of America's healthcare system. It's my personal opinion that making America healthy again will be a top presidential priority for President Trump. Now, we know from RFK's News Nation town hall that he is overwhelmingly positive about the potential of psychedelic treatments to treat depression. Both Trump and Kennedy agree upon and live by the idea that the new face of healthcare and dealing with mental health must be accessible, simple, and easy. And between Elon Musk's and Ramaswamy's new Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, and RFK's mission of helping tens of millions of Americans get on the high road, I'm very, very bullish personally on psychedelics. Now, existing products are far inferior to the one that is in development stage right now from Cybin on the New York Stock Exchange. Now, I've looked in depth into Cybin. I invited them to sponsor today's video because of the stunning RFK news this week. Here is their ticker on your screen. Now, this is my first full-fledged Trump-era stock market bet, okay? And I'm going big into this one, guys, personally, just me personally. I want to show you the valuation proposition of Cybin, okay, which I'm personally extremely excited about. Now, Cybin's market cap is $215 million. That is lower today than the total sum the company has raised from major institutional players. That's not all. I'm just scratching the surface here. Of the $250 million that was raised, Cybin has more than $150 million sitting in cash in the treasury. Now, if you back out the numbers, the enterprise value is around $70 million. The company's breakthrough drug, which is passing regulatory hurdles with flying colors as we speak, the company has passed several key milestones, yet the market is presently valuing the enterprise at only $70 million. These are the geniuses that are developing the company's drugs right now. Now, I don't know how we can make this any clearer. America's healthcare system is about to go through a metamorphosis under the Trump administration. I have researched this topic for years, and I'm not the only one. The richest man ever, Elon Musk, is on board as well. Now, Cybin is one of the most interesting drug development companies I've ever seen in my life. Psychedelics, especially psilocybin, are already administered with great success to patients suffering from depression, but the current products require frequent visits to the clinic, year-long treatments, and seemingly no end to it. You're continually doing it. Now, what Cybin is doing is so extraordinary and revolutionary because the clinical trials have shown promising results after just 2 intermittent doses, 3 weeks apart. Patients reported sustained results. Now, when I looked at this from a government perspective and the frequency of visits that the present ways of treating depression and anxiety are treated, the costs to the system are enormous. This is exactly what RFK is trying to eliminate. So you have long lines, a shortage of psychiatrists. The nanny state cannot absorb that overload. So think of the increased productivity if depression can be cured in the United States with minimal visits to a clinic, with lasting results, no more chronic diseases, which last years, and these patients can resume being positive members of our society and a source of joy for their families. Look at how many tens of millions of Americans are impacted by this, and the reviews that psychedelics are receiving when administered under supervision by professionals with proper care are becoming known to more and more Americans across the country. We could be on the verge of further decriminalization, depending on the speed at which Trump's administration can work. RFK is fully on board with this. Now, Cybin's development stage drug addresses major depressive disorder, MDD. The addressable market is monumental. 300 million people worldwide, 21 million with major depressive disorders in the United States. The level of success of present products are not up to par. So Cybin has a major opportunity, in my view, to break this open, wide open. Donald Trump and his vice president, J.D. Vance, appeared on Joe Rogan's show, The Joe Rogan Experience. Vance and Rogan talked at length about the need right now to help veterans of the United States military who are suffering from trauma, PTSD. Many, of course, commit suicide. We're losing veterans every day to suicide. They can't access psychedelics, which, as Rogan said on his show, has already helped Navy SEALs like Sean Ryan, who has the #2 podcast in the world today. So we need to make it accessible for all of our veterans. So the voices of reason are speaking, and I believe this administration will do much in paving the way to allow innovative psychedelic treatments in a controlled and supervised environment for medical use for our veterans and perhaps the general population. We will see. Now, this is the reason I'm so bullish on Cybin right now, guys, which has raised tens of millions of dollars at $16 a share. And right now, as of this recording, it's trading below $12 a share. So they raised millions of dollars at $16 a share, and right now it's trading below $12. So the results speak for themselves as far as I'm concerned. And as far as I'm aware, no competitor has been able to prove such strong positive results 4 months after administering only 2 doses right now. So I'm happy that I could bring this company to your attention. I want you guys to go out there and do your own research on this company. The market cap of Cybin, $220 million, of which $150 million is cash, sitting on cash in the bank. The addressable market for their drug, if it becomes commercial, is in the billions of dollars. The CEO of the company has appeared on Fox's Dr. Drew's show talking about Cybin. Very interesting. Guys, research this company. Do your own due diligence on it. I'll have links to their website where you can spend time going through their reports, studying what this company does. And look at the data right now on U.S. veterans who are suffering from depression and the rate at which we're losing U.S. veterans per day because of suicide. I'm excited what this company can do to help those individuals. Thanks, guys. Do your own research on this, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.